Welcome back. As you're watching In the Game, it's time to bring you up to speed with all happening in Morocco. I am taking you to Morocco. I've taken you to Fez, to Rabat, and right now, Marrakesh, I beg your pardon. Right now, I'm going to take you to Rabat, where the Super Eagles will face their host nation. I can see that you're heaving a sigh of relief, Damiloju, but the truth is, we're facing the host nation. Yeah. And I think the Super Eagles of Nigeria, we should give them a round of applause. If we still have Okmone, we should give them a round of applause. They saved African football. Because the truth is, if Algeria had faced Morocco in the semi-final, guys, what's really going to happen? Damiloju, you know what's really going to happen between those two? They've got severe ties. Yeah. So I think we saved African football with that win.
Interestingly, yes, we know that the political tensions that is happening between Algeria and Morocco is not at the best place right now. I think there was a CHAN tournament that was happening in Morocco and Algeria didn't go for that particular one. It wasn't happening in Algeria and Morocco didn't go.
This is all about territorial.
Yes.
Both of them are unified. But Morocco have the upper hand after the resolution being made. And the Algerians, they are sore losers. They never take a no for an answer or a defeat so well.
And that we saw.
All right, let me begin the AFCON update with what you missed on socials. Social media went aboard after the Super Eagles faced up with Algeria. Algeria made no short on target. Super Eagles decimated them. But let's go to social media and, of course, see how it went uproar after the Super Eagles had that wonderful performance.
How the hell are you flying?
Helicopter man!
He just eats up these headers like a sweet snack.
Aussie chin chin.
Then Adams left Zidane with a lump in his throat.
Adams apple.
Osman bringing that flavour again with an assist.
Jolofferman.
And the passing for this goal, it was sweet.
Like puff puff balls.
They smoked him.
Puff puff puff.
They didn't let Algeria breathe.
We couldn't puff puff.
And Calvin Bassey at the back.
Bassey.
He bossed their attack.
Someone called the FPF.
It was like AI designed him.
Calvin Klein.
I mean Algeria, bruh. These guys just look confused.
Like algebra.
They didn't know what to do.
You silly boy.
Another team got pounded like yam.
Algeria.
And will he do it again in the semis?
Of course, he's Aussie semi-man.
All I know, this guy is feared.
Many men fear Aussie men.
Big up Nigeria. Play the mate.
Playing against Fulham, it's a top team. Look at the game. 5-4 in the end. It's incredible. You know, and you play against Bassey, which is, how strong is he? Yeah. You know, and Anderson is huge. So every game is kind of course, its own game and everything. You have your plan and everything.
Fufu versus Couscous, bro. Kelvin, Bassey. You know, you can't compare Fufu to Couscous, bro. Even if you put one on the right hand, the other on the left, bro, the weight, you know, bro, Couscous is not Fufu's level. Bassey is like that uncle playing with kids.
If you did not have smiles on your face, then I think you should go for deliverance. Damiloju, I was a gog looking at social media, every single thing on social media, from Saturday down to this very morning, and it's been going, Aussie Chichi, because it's Aussie semi-man. That's why we see him in the semi-final. Victor, let me hear your thoughts concerning all that has gone down on social media.
Well, it's actually crazy when you look at the frenzy we saw out there on social media. I mean, you know, while the game was ongoing, I just went on heads, just trying to get, you know, what people were saying at different moments. And it was just crazy. Even before I saw comment from Nigerians, I was seeing comment from the Moroccans. I actually had to use my translator quite a number of times because what's other French? What's other Arabic? I'm seeing the Moroccans bantering. I'm seeing people from DR Congo joining us, and it felt like I don't even need to go to Nigerian Twitter to actually understand what's going on. And, you know, aside that, I was at an event, and, you know, I saw a number of people at the event holding their phones, streaming the game. And it was just crazy looking at their comments, right? And it was just easy to just run through that event because I mean, people are out there. Everybody's crazy about what's happening. A lot of people tweeting right there on social media. People showing themselves what's happening out there, and the trends keep coming on. It's just a crazy one. And this is what football does. Again, the unity, how it brings us all together. I mean, look at Nigerians joining hands with Moroccans. People from Tunisia saying, yes, they beat us. Look at them. They have wiped you guys again. And then, people are all over like that. And it's just crazy when you never thought that we would see eye to eye with the likes of the South Africans, with people from other nationalities. And, everybody's connecting and they're happy and excited, about what is going on. Whatever you're beating that country, everybody is just like, okay, let's go on.
Oh, yes, let's go on. And now we are in the semi-final of this competition. But I tell you for a fact that it's looking like Nigeria wants to just take out all the North African powerhouses. Tunisia, Algeria, and let me tell you, they would take down Morocco. They don't care if they're the host nation. Let's see about defending champions. Yes, the other game in the quarterfinals saw the likes of Cote d'Ivoire, because they were taken out by Egypt. But the curse of the African Cup of Nations defending champions struck again when Cote d'Ivoire exited the competition in the quarterfinal, losing 3-2 to Egypt. A mind-blowing game, I would tell you. Coming back from behind, but they could not just hold their own. The reigning champion, they have advanced past the quarterfinal before, but recent tournaments have seen major struggles for title holders. We saw that for Egypt in 2012, we saw for Zambia in 2013, Nigeria 2015, Ivory Coast 2017, they left in the group stage. Cameroon 2019, they left in the round of 16. Algeria 2021, the group stage. Senegal 2023, after being 2022 champions, they left in the round of 16. Ivory Coast's quarterfinal finish represents the best showing, I would say, from title holder in this competition. In 15 years since Egypt did not even play, as they say, did not even qualify when they were defending champions of this competition. So the curse is still on. It's still on for defending champion of this competition. So it seems like you cannot win it and then retain it or keep it, Damiloju.
Yeah, interestingly, the last time we had a team go on to retain the African Cup of Nations, they did it 3 times in a row. That's Egypt between 2006 and 2010. But it just shows you how unpredictable African football can be.
And competitive, because you see new teams coming up.
Yes.
We're seeing upsets. We've never seen powerhouses, teams from pot 1, 2 teams from pot 2 make it to the quarterfinal. It has never happened before. We're always seeing one Cinderella team that is coming to spoil the party. But this year, it seems the heavy guns are ready to go on a battle, and only the grass will suffer it.
Unfortunately, only the grass will suffer it. But I must give a huge shout out to Cote d'Ivoire, like you talked about, in the last 15 years. They have had the best run as a defending champion in recent tournaments. Hopefully, if the Super Eagles win it this year, we will also go and do well in 2027.
Let's talk about history right now. For the first time at the African Cup of Nations, we are seeing 4 coaches going into the semi-final, and those 4 coaches, they are African coaches, ensuring that homegrown tactician will always win. It would have been sweeter if we had a Nigerian leading the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But we have a Malian, we have a Senegalese, we have a Moroccan, and also an Egyptian, Hassan, over there. For the very first time, we've always seen foreign coaches go all out in this competition. Victor, is this beautiful time for football on the continent?
Well, it's been beautiful times since 2019, when we saw the Algerian Jamel actually get that victory for Algeria. And then we saw, the man who also ensured that many people started going back to nostalgia. I was talking about Rigobert Song. And then, we started looking at what happened, elsewhere. And here we are celebrating 4 of them in the semi-finals. Good one, really good one. I don't wish for a Nigerian in there, but this man feels more Nigerian now. If you see the vibes in the dressing room, I think he's more Nigerian as we speak. The last time he led his own country, he had water being poured on his head.
He became the water man.
It's just so good that we have what we have happening right here.
Okay.
I remember there was an African football coaches conference, a couple of days back, and that was to celebrate African coaches as well as ensure that everybody's getting more development, getting more exposure, doing better as it stands. And, it's a wake-up call to others in Africa.
Yes, indeed.
Aside waiting for some people to do something, we also know that we ourselves need to spur ourselves on to become better and better at it. I mean, at that stage, we also had a couple of African coaches knocked out, like of Basafai, Cote d'Ivoire, ousted right there. And, it's a beautiful thing. People never thought of Pape Thiaw leading the Senegalese, but here he is and can see the wonders he has done. And back to the topic, where you mentioned, whether the host nation have the course and all of that. I think when Nigeria wins it, at this edition,
they will be able to retain it. All right, let's see.
It's not looking to retain it. We will show them that there's no cost anyway. It's just that they have not let us.
I am seeing a little bit of rebirth of confidence from Nigerian fans who criticize the Super Eagles as being the worst set of team that Nigeria has ever produced. But look at them right now. Same lips, same mouth, saying that these Super Eagles, we've got so much confidence. Now, let's talk about them. They have entered African Cup of Nations record books. Yes, their scoring of 14 goals has put them as one of the teams, African teams, who have scored more goals in this competition so far, because they still expected that they score more heading up to the semi-final, and even if they make it to the final or the fourth place match. Now, you can see on your screen right now, Cote d'Ivoire did that with 16 goals sometime in 2008. Zambia there, of course, they also did the same thing Cameroon did in 2006. And we're seeing the likes of Morocco in 2004, DR Congo in 1974. They delivered a number of goals. I'm hoping we can take that out right now. All right, we can see all those number of goals coming from teams who have done that. And Nigeria are the latest entrant into that top scorers list. 14 goals so far. Damiloju,
yes.
There's more to come.
There definitely is more to come. And the interesting thing is you always have a third place match in the AFCON. I'm not saying that we're going to lose to Morocco, but I'm saying everybody in the semi-final from this stage on has 2 more matches to play. So the Super Eagles have at least 180 minutes, whatever the situation is, to add to the goals. I want us to have the record. So at least 2 goals per game, and the new record should potentially be ours if we add 1 more.
And there's a possibility that we see the likes of Victor Osimhen having to, decimate, I'll call it decimate, or maybe obliterate the record by late Rashidi Yekini. He's got just 2 goals left to play to make that record and maybe surpass it in the next game he plays. But the top scorers list at the African Cup of Nations keeps Brahim Diaz from Morocco at 5 goals. Victor Osimhen, after playing 4, he has got 4 goals after 5 games been played. Mohamed Salah, 4 goals after 4 games been played. Ademola Lookman is in 4th position there. But we've got 2 Nigerians, something to be proud about. Victor Okpone, quickly, please.
Definitely. It's good to see how our attack has blended. We waited for a long while to see the perfect combinations, and we got more than we actually waited for. You can see the combination of Akpo Adams, Ademola Lookman, and Victor Osimhen. We had seen Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman at the last African Cup of Nations, and now we have the complement of having Akpo Adams also joining the attack. And the way they move, the things that they've been able to do, the dynamism that they have portrayed, it shows that it will be hard for any team to actually hold us back. And for what it's worth, I must say that at first we were scared about the defense, saying we are only scoring goals. I told people that our attack would get us past many teams right here in the African Cup of Nations.
Yes.
But now we have got back-to-back clean sheets, and yet the attacking swagger is not lost. And this is something very remarkable. I think we need to actually shower more encomiums on the players and on Eric Sekusha for the job that he's done on all these players and the playmaking efforts, of Alexander Iwobi.
All right, yes, nobody's saying Alexander Iwobi. He's the machine over there doing some beautiful jobs in that midfield. And that's the reason why we're having this attack come all out against any opposing team. We cannot wrap up this session of the show without talking about what happened on Saturday. Now, the Confederation of African Football has launched an investigation into incidents of unacceptable behavior during the 2025 quarterfinal between Algeria and Nigeria, and also focusing on that between Cameroon and Morocco. Reports and video evidence suggests misconduct by playing officials and media personnel. We did hear about that mixed zone, brouhaha and fracas, and this has prompted referrals to CAF disciplinary board. The governing body emphasized that actions targeting referees or match organizers would not be tolerated. CAF is reviewing all evidence to ensure accountability and also uphold professionalism and maintain the standards at the African Cup of Nations. Meanwhile, fans on social media are actively analyzing the Algeria versus Nigeria fixture, with debates, clips fueling some decision. Those found guilty, they say they will face some sanctions reinforcing CAF's commitment to discipline, sportsmanship, and tournament integrity. Let's listen to one of the fans who was able to analyze that penalty that Algeria are still holding against referee Issa Sai. They say they would have had a penalty, a clear chance for a penalty. But let's listen to this fan who did a little bit of analysis. And when we come back, we get to react to that.
In this situation, they wanted a penalty for handball, but play continued. So let's look. There are always considerations to make when looking at a handball situation. In this case, it's a one-on-one situation. If you look at the defender, initially the arm is in a natural position, but after the ball is played, he extends the arm. However, if you look very closely, you can actually see that the ball deflected off his leg. Before hitting the arm, there was a clear touch on the leg. And the IFAB has made a statement on this. They say that if a player plays the ball with another body part and it then hits their hand or arm, it is not a handball offense. And this is the reason why I think VAR did not intervene. But if you look at the trajectory of the ball, it might have still hit the hand even if the leg wasn't there. And that's why this is such a difficult situation. But if you go strictly with what the IFAB says, this should not be a handball offense. So this is the most probable reason why VAR did not intervene in this situation.
An explanation done over there by a fan who went into IFAB books to check the situation around why Issa Sai, the center referee officiating that game between Algeria and Nigeria, did not demand for a video assistant referee review for that handball situation, or proposed handball situation, as Algeria did claim. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we would have gentlemen in the studio and also via Zoom reacting to that analysis. Don't go anywhere, and the game continues. I'm back and still watching In the Game, and we are bringing you up to speed with all happened at the 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco with our AFCON Express. We just played a video having an analysis from a fan concerning that alleged handball that should have been given in favor of Algeria. Let me hear, Damiloju, quickly what do you have to say concerning him citing a particular rule from IFAB, and also saying maybe that's the reason why Issa Sai, who was the center referee for that day, did not call for VAR.
I completely agree with the analysis, and this is why you have to know the laws of the game before you start accusing any of the officials of wrongdoing. By the letter of the law, the right decision was what we saw on the field of play. This is not anything about being in Nigeria, and this is not because the Super Eagles were involved. It is the letter of the law. IFAB are the ones that set the laws that guide and govern the actions of the referee. Yes, as fans, we're emotional. Yes, sometimes we scream handball, we scream offside.
Okay.
But when you have more context, you should be able to backtrack off your initial decision.
All right, and remember that a center referee lives and dies by his decision. That is what this is all about. Still have Victor Okpone joining us via Zoom. Let's quickly talk about the Super Eagles right now. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has congratulated Nigeria's Super Eagles for reaching the 2025 African Cup of Nations semi-finals. He urged the team to sustain their momentum and aim for the trophy. The statement followed Nigeria's 2-0 quarterfinal victory over Algeria in Marrakesh, Morocco, describing the team as, in quote, pride of Nigeria, end of quote. Akpabio praised their discipline, resilience, and collective spirit, saying their performance had lifted the nation's morale. He called on the players to remain focused ahead of the challenging semi-final against host Morocco on Wednesday. He says he's proud of the team and they should stay focused, keep the momentum, as Akpabio said this through his media aide. Now, let's talk about the whole off-field issue, as the Director General of the National Sport Commission, Honorable Bukola Olokpade, has addressed concerns over unpaid allowances owed the Super Eagles. Olokpade confirmed that the matter has been actively resolved, ensuring that players receive funds due to them as they continue international commitments. He emphasized that the Commission is committed to prioritizing athletes' welfare and maintaining transparency in financial matters. Let's listen to Olokpade himself as he was able to address all those who had concerns concerning the Super Eagles bonus.
I'm sure Diko and I are determined to ensure that athletes' welfare is paramount to us. I said to someone recently, I said, there is no way. I also have my colleague, the DG Tourism here, Nauta. And I I've always said that we are not going to do things that will desecrate the name of the nation, i.e. having money that is meant to be released to and little players are not doing it. That is a thing of the past. And in my private discussion with a few of the players, of the senior players, a few days ago, yesterday, I did reaffirm those assurances. For the record, it was never true that the money was not ready. The NFF, like I've always said, is not a corrupt entity under Kusu and Shanusi. As far as we are concerned at the NSC, because every money released from the NSC is checked line by line. Nobody can call Kusu or Shanusi corrupt. And when you talk about successes, people are just fixated on not so confirmed for the World Cup. This NFF has achieved a lot. I don't care what anybody says on social media. Any other thing is people's opinion, and if you have your facts, go. But as far as the NS is concerned, we have a solid collaboration with federations. NFF.
That video there, courtesy Puja Media. All right, you can hear the DG having to explain all from the in-house of the commission and what they plan concerning the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But the deed has been done already. Let's quickly tell you that the Super Eagles are expected to depart first from Rabat today as they intensify preparations for the 2025 AFCON semi-final, where they face host nation Morocco. Wednesday's last four encounter will take place at the Stade Moulay Hassan in Rabat, with Nigeria seeking a place in the final. The team returned to Marrakesh on Sunday after a convincing 2-0 quarterfinal win over Algeria. Following the arrival, the players and officials had a recovery session at the football complex, to aid them and their physical recovery. According to camp sources, the Super Eagles will travel to Rabat later today and hold their penultimate training session tonight. Head coach Eric Schell is expected to fine-tune tactics as Nigeria prepares for a high-stakes showdown with the Atlas Lions. Our correspondent, Udoka Njoku, is live in Rabat at the moment, and he joins us now. Udoka, you're welcome. Thank you for your patience. So tell us, what do we know about the Super Eagles' arrival? We hear that it's going to be at 3 p.m., but what's the latest concerning that, and what's the latest in camp? Did you see their training? Who is out? What concerns should we have ahead of Wednesday's showdown, Udoka?
Yeah, thank you very much, Onye. We're looking forward to the Super Eagles touching down Rabat. It should happen between the 3 o'clock hour, and they should touch down the airport, which is not so far from the train station, and also the stadium where the game will be going down between Morocco and Nigeria. But, of course, we'll be there to welcome the Super Eagles. And in camp, of course, the only suspension we have so far is Wilfred Ndidi, who got an unnecessary yellow card in that game against Algeria. Sterling Wabali, the #1 goalkeeper at the moment for Nigeria, is just one yellow card away from suspension. If he gets a yellow card against Morocco, if we're winning that game, of course, if he gets a yellow card against Morocco, it means he will miss the final. And no other person than Francis Uzoho will man the post for Nigeria. So Sterling Wabali is one yellow card away. Wilfred Ndidi will not be playing that game against Morocco on Wednesday. So these are the confirmed updates from the Super Eagles camp. They will have a training session later today, which is closed to the media. And, of course, tomorrow we'll have 15 minutes with the players and also with that of the players from Morocco as well.
All right, Udoka, what do we hear about Ryan Alabi-Oshun? We hear that he is also training away from others, having a little light training. What do we hear concerning his health?
Yes, of course, he's recovering gradually, but he will not get to feature in that game. I know that for sure. He will not feature in that game. Even if he will, I'm not sure Rick Shaw will want to take that risk to put him into action, because that game will have 100% pressure on all of the players. So Alabi-Oshun is still training aside from the team. Cyril Dessers, long ago, he has gone back to his club. Wilfred Ndidi, who suffered an injury in that one, we also hear that he's training, but he will not feature because of that suspension. Hopefully, he gets to play in either the third place or the final match for Nigeria. Apart from that, no other major injury scare in the Super Eagles team.
What do you hear about the Confederation of African Football investigation? They say that they are watching the situation. They've opened investigation concerning what happened at the mixed zone and also what happened on the pitch. What is the latest on that? Keep us up to speed, please.
Yeah, of course, they did as much as they could to stop people from recording that night when it broke out between Moroccan journalists and, of course, journalists from Algeria. There's been a long-term rivalry between these two nations, and the Algerian journalists are saying the referee was biased when it got to his calls on the pitch. Now, CAF are investigating everything that happened on the night, and some journalists have been pointed out, and I'm sure their accreditations will be seized if they're still here in Morocco, maybe for the next tournament, which will be next year. I'm sure CAF will take charge and they will not be accredited to cover that tournament. But of course, investigations are still ongoing. Questions are being asked. A couple of journalists have been also asked questions. Even that night when we left, we were told to leave the pitch, talking about the Nigerian journalists, we were told to leave the mixed zone. But the Algerian journalists were told to stay back. Questions were asked. A lot of CAF officials were on ground to ensure that peace came back to the mixed zone. And also they brought out the Algerian players to speak with them specially. So far so good. No punishment, no sanctions have been put in place for the offending journalists. I'm sure before the close of the event, before the tournament ends, CAF will make a major statement, and I'm sure fines and sanctions will be put in place.
All right, a statement has already been made that they've begun investigation. We're waiting for the outcome. Tell us what the feel is like over there in Rabat. You've moved to a new city, so it seems that you are traveling from, as they say, from Lagos to Kampala, but you are moving from first to Marrakesh, from Marrakesh to Rabat. Doka, you've traveled the world. You've traveled the world. Tell us, what do you feel? What is that feel there in Rabat at the moment?
Well, one thing we're happy about is the sunshine. It is not so cold here in Rabat. This is more like a city that is warm and welcoming to the fans, football fans here in Rabat. But of course, the pitch will be ice cold because we will be expecting the turnout of hundreds of thousands of Moroccan fans supporting the Atlas Lions of Morocco. But so far, so good. The city, this particular part of Rabat, is pretty calm. And I'm sure later today we'll feel the noise of the Nigerians because they'll be coming in their droves to support the Super Eagles. But so far, so good. It's just easy calm here in the city of Rabat. But the Moroccan fans who see us around will say, oh, New Central, Nigeria, Viva Nigeria, but Morocco will win the game. And I'm wondering, let's see how that turns out, because all predictions are indeed favoring Morocco. But I'm sure the Super Eagles have what it takes to get that victory. So we're looking forward to it. Fans are quite optimistic. We'll look forward to seeing them later today.
All right. Please have to test their polls and know if they will come all out for Nigeria in Rabat. I'm very certain that we've got some Nigerians there, because I remember the AFCON finals, we saw them turn out in their numbers. Thank you so much, Udoka. We appreciate your update. Please keep staying safe. All right, Victor, let's stay with you before we let you go. I understand you have to be somewhere at the time, but I need to tell you that the 11-time curse for host nation, we're hoping that it will not be 12 when Nigeria, oust Morocco, the host nation, in the semi-final of this competition. I know that 11 times we've seen the host nation lift the trophy, underscoring the impact of home advantage, but most recently, Ivory Coast won the 2023 edition, held in 2024, defeating Nigeria 2-1 in the final. Other hosts who claim the title include Egypt. We've seen Ghana from 1963 to 1978, Sudan in 1970, Congo-Brazzaville, Morocco, Nigeria in 1980, South Africa, Tunisia 2004, while some host nations have failed to win such a game as Angola in 2010 and Gabon in 2017. The 11 victories highlight trend of strong performance from home soil. Egypt remains the all-time leader with 7 titles, though not all won as a host, because they've hosted this competition. Morocco hosting the 2025 edition. Victor, quickly, could this extend the home winning streak for the host nation?
Well, like my man Duka said earlier, Nigeria has what it takes to actually get the victory against the Moroccans, on Wednesday. And that will be the case. For me, I think we are going all the way. We're starting from the loss of the last final at the hands of Côte d'Ivoire. The Elephants had too much for us on that day, but I think this time around we have more than enough to actually tweet the Atlas Lions. I think we have more than enough to soar above them and into the final. And whoever comes to us in the final, we're going to make meet of them. I just believe that we have quite a lot going for us at this point in time. if you look at the test that we've had, we've actually made the run look so easy, easier than many people thought it would be. Looking at how we have risen from the first game down to this particular moment, and you would say it's quite something. Noting that a lot of times we see that North Africans are actually sore losers. The way they whine and complain, go at the referee from time to time. We saw it with Tunisia in the group stage. We saw it with the Algerians on a higher scale in the last game. We went away with the clean sheets despite that, reducing them to 0 shots on target. And it is saying quite a lot about how we are focused on this game. So kudos to everybody who has put everything together to ensure that Nigeria are actually moving in this state. But I have to say that we have more than enough in our time to get by the Atlas Lions of Morocco, the host nation. They might have the crowd roaring behind them, but we also know that the boys are cycling for this game. And I think that everything that we have faced in this competition, the silent battles, the ones that we have, poured water on, and all the tensions are reduced, are actually going to actually put us in the right state, the right frame of mind. Because when it comes to tournaments like this, moments take the memories. And of course, we have quite a lot going for us at this point in time.
Yes, we have quite a lot going for us at this point in time. Thank you so much, Victor Okpana. I understand you have to, leave the conversation at the moment. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And we wish the Super Eagles all the best every single time. Damiloju, I'm left with you at the moment. Before we wrap up the AFCON Express. Yes, I've got no choice. All right, before we wrap up the AFCON Express, what do you think can be a Waterloo heading up to this encounter with Morocco?
So I heard what Victor was saying, and I agree with a lot of the fact that though North Africans are sore losers, if you follow the CAF Champions League, CAF Confederation Cup, if you follow this tournament itself, you know that the North Africans are notorious for a lot of gimmicks. I will not be surprised if we're hearing feelers that certain things were done to the players en route the game. Expect a very hostile atmosphere. Expect the fans to be very intimidating.
We saw that. We saw that at the AFCON final.
You were there.
Yes.
And I'm sure you experienced it firsthand.
They did not allow Nigerian fans to make it to the stadium.
Yes.
They shut all the gates and told the fans that the stands are full already.
So we should expect, so what I'm expecting from the Super Eagles is know that you're going for war. Literally, the Atlas Lions are playing for their pride, and they actually want to reverse a record that has not been able to change in 50 years.
I also want them to play for pride, because the truth is, I want them to do a double against Morocco. The Super Falcons did that. They should be able to do that.
Good.
Make that wound fresh again.
So we are a good side, and we've grown in this tournament, but I need us to know. And then the gimmicks, we need our players to have a level head.
Yes, keep your head down.
They need to have a level head, because it is very easy for you to let emotions take the better of you.
I think we need to speak to the chief in their midst.
Onyechi, if you have a name, why don't you just look in the camera and talk to the person?
We all know who the chief is.
No, we don't read minds over here. But I think I'm excited for the Super Eagles. I'm concerned, I'm worried, because the host nation and Morocco, they could have some gimmicks, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we've matured as a team during the course of the tournament.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria were playing against 11 men, not only 11 men, the 12th man, and also all the forces in Rabat, the air, the wind, every single thing, water, every single thing, and also the land. They'll be playing against a lot of forces in that semi-final against Morocco. But I tell you for sure that Nigeria for the win. We wrap up the AFCON Express at this time. We'll return with more updates in the world of sports. Don't go anywhere. In the Game continues.